Welcome into the I-80 Boys College Football Show. Chris, we've got the Texas Longhorns on tap, the team that everybody loves to hate from Austin, the hippies, the whatever you want to call them. How many wins, how many losses?
Look, I'll start off by saying this. I didn't pick any team this year to go undefeated. I picked Oregon last year. They did it. I didn't pick anybody, though. I have them going 11-1. Now, the one loss, you're probably going to say, oh, at Ohio State. No, I don't. I have Texas winning that game, Christian. But even worse, I have them losing to A&M at the end of the year. As you know, I've been meat riding A&M all offseason, so I got to take the Aggies there. I could be wrong. I could be right. Christian, tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I also have them going 11-1, Chris, but where we differ here is to Florida. They got to go on the swamp.
Ooh.
They curb stomped the shit out of Florida last year at home, but I think Florida is going to want some revenge after last year. They went 13-3, Texas did last year. Chris, who's your most important game on this schedule?
It's easy to say the Ohio State game, right? Because this is going to be an amazing week one this year. And I see why, right? Two of the top three teams in the country. I mean, Texas is my consensus number one pick right now. I mean, number one overall to start the year. And I think they are in most people's polls. I get it, but outside the Ohio State game, I'm going to say the game at the Swamp. I'm not as high on Florida as you are. You're definitely high on them this year. We did a season breakdown or a prediction video for Florida, but I do think that's going to be tough, right? I mean, Arch Manning is going to be a big test on the road. I know you can say at Ohio State at the shoe will definitely be as well. He'll have one under his belt by then, but I'm with you. That Florida game is going to be a tough one. Obviously, you could pick Oklahoma for same reasons, rivalry game. We know how that one's usually a close game as well. But then they have a stretch there, Kentucky and at Mississippi State. Nothing's easy in the SEC, man. It's really not. Texas fans know that. They did well last year. So what's your thoughts, though? What do you think the toughest game is for them?
A lot of really good games on here. I think most important one for me is going to be Ohio State. Road game, beat them in the playoffs last year. So you got to go into Ohio State, into the shoe, and you've got to get Arch Manning going early and often. Now, we know we started games last year, but to me, this is the real start of the Arch Manning era for them. So it's really going to be important. That Ohio State game could potentially set the tone for the rest of the season, especially if we both have them going 11-1. All right, looking at some of the key losses that this program had last year, Chris. Quarterback Quinn Ewers off to the NFL. Running back Jaden Blue. Tight end Gunnar Helm. Wide receiver Isaiah Bond. Offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. Cornerback Jade Barron. Wide receiver Matthew Golden. Safety Andrew Makuba. And defensive end Baron Sorrell. Some of their key additions here, Chris. Tight end Jack Indries, Cal transfer who had 600 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver Emmett Mosley. He's a transfer from Stanford. He put up over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. Wide receiver Khalik Lockett. He's the number 2 receiver in this year's recruiting class, so he should be pretty good. We know Texas has been on a tear even recently here recruiting, so look out for him to make an impact. Defensive tackles Travis Shaw and Cole Brevard. They had a combined 45 tackles, and I think that's going to really help the heart of this Longhorns defense. And then last but not least, linebacker Brad Spence. He brings 54 tackles and 4.5 sacks by way of Arkansas. He should be a really solid depth rotational player for him at the linebacker spot here, Chris. Some of their top returning players, number one got to be Arch Manning, right? He did put up 939 yards last year and 9 touchdowns. Running back Quintravion Wisner put up 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns in that backfield for him last year. Their wide receivers, Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore, combined for over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Linebacker Anthony Hill, 113 tackles and 8 sacks. He's to me going to be one of the heart and soul of this defense. Safety Michael Taff. He's a former walk-on, Chris, who had 78 tackles and 10 pass deflections with 2 picks last year, so good for that young man. Linebackers Colin Simmons and Trey Moore bring in about 16.5 sacks from last year combined. And then cornerback Malik Muhammad, 36 tackles and 8 pass breakups. Chris, looking at what they bring back, it's easy to see why Texas is going to be one of the better teams, not only in the SEC this year, but also the country. Kind of wrap this up for me here. Give me some of your last thoughts on Texas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, I think they're the number 1 team in the country to start the season. I do. I have them in my preseason poll that high. They lost 14 players to the NFL draft. Now that's my big question mark there. How are they going to, fill the shoes of some of those guys they lost, especially on the defensive side of the ball? I mean, if you guys didn't know this, they were number 3 in total defense, 13th against the run, 7th against the pass. This Texas defense last year was legit. I do think Arch Manning will be an upgrade to Quinn Ewers. I know that sounds like a far stretch. I know Quinn Ewers was a damn good college football quarterback. I get that. He's on my Dolphins now. I wish him the best in the NFL. My biggest thing with him, though, it showed at times last year, like he couldn't run, and I know he's been hurt a lot of his career. Arch Manning kind of brings that dynamic. He can kind of run a little bit. Bigger guy. He's pretty athletic for a Manning, to be honest, and I think the offense will take a step forward this year. I do think the defense will take a little bit of a step back. That's easy to say considering everybody they lost, but if we know anything about Sark and this Texas team, you touched on it, they recruit incredibly freaking well. Texas is going to be one of the best teams in the country. That's easy to say. I think everybody in their dog knows that this year, Christian. I'll turn it back over to you for any last thoughts about Texas.
Yeah, I mean, we know Arch Manning's going to be good, but can he live up to the hype that he had coming out of high school? That's the real question now that he's the go-to guy. You touched on it, Chris. Can Texas be a top 15 defense again? That's going to pretty much, to me, be important for them, the most important aspect of this if they're going to go 11-1 and have a shot at this at the end of the year. And lastly, that bleeds right into it. Can Sark win a national title at Texas? As a Longhorns fans, I want you guys to go in the comment and tell us why you think they'll win the Natty this year.